Balde?
Who's on the screen today? Is it Janaba? I don't know.
Excuse me.
I don't know this face.
It's me.
Is that,
oh my God.
Is that my Janaba
Doesn't this look pretty?
Is that you?
Man la de da ngeen ma daan jaay mun a sol glass man nag ñëw naa ak man tamit sama glasses and you know yesterday wax naa la ñu dem Opticalia you know right there
Opticalia baby
Opticalia baby right there at Tropics, you know, they offered to provide me these glasses because they want to protect me from the studio lights. You know, they checked my ears yesterday, they checked my eyes, so they told me, oh, your ears and eyes are totally fine, but we just feel like we need to protect your eyes from all of the studio lights, the screen, the mobile phone screen and all of that, and they decided to give me this. And you know what, I got to choose my own frame, and I received this within 25 minutes. So it's you get this on the spot. On the spot. So wow. Opticalia is obviously the real deal. And so they're waiting for you.
They look very good on you.
Yeah, and they're waiting for you actually.
I think this is nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's you should have done this long time ago.
Yeah, it looks good.
In fact, it is showing your beauty. Yeah. You know, it is surfacing more.
Yeah. My journey to presidency starts today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
My journey.
Okay, so we are
Mr.
back.
Butch,
we are back
smile.
again.
Welcome to the program. Suma journey be pour nekk president. Tay la commencé lo ci wax.
Good luck.
Anyway, Optically yang la xaar yow tamit. Waiting for you as well, Ibrahim Balde. Go get your glasses.
I will go there.
They are totally the real deal, you know. And the nicest thing is they give you a whole package where you can clean your glasses and do everything. So that is it for them. And moving on, xam nga ñun géwél lañ. ñu ne Aliou Diallo mu ne géwél bu ndaw la.
No, ku noppi suñ noppee ñu rafle.
Ñu rafle bëgguñ ko. So moving on, we have the African proverb as usual. We have the newspaper review. Our guest is already here, Mamadou Mbodj, to help us analyze some of the stories that we have on the papers, as well as talk about the African proverb. And on inspirational stories today, we have female taxi driver Fatou Sane will be joining us on the program. You know, she is the inspirational story today, taking us through how she's able to balance how life as being married, have a child, as well as be a taxi driver. Let's just say, how is she able to smash patriarchy, you know, to be able to get right there on the streets and drive like her male counterparts? So she'll be joining us here. And on Sports World, we're joined by Ade Drame to take us through what is happening in the world of sports. Hopefully we'll be talking about the female team against Cameroon the last time, and now they're saying they do not want to repeat the same mistake. We are looking forward to that. Don't forget that One Stop Water Solution, they're part of our partners, as well as Surau Camera Unified IT Institute, One Stop Water Solution for all your water dispensers, tanks, and the list goes on. Just anything that will ensure that your water is clean and set for drinking. Head right on to One Stop Water Solution and Surau Camera Unified IT Institute. Certificate, diploma, Cisco, you name it. For all your IT needs, simply rush there. So what is our African proverb?
All right, let's keep the ball rolling. When a needle falls into a well, many people will look into the well, but only a few will be ready to go down after it.
All right.
Yes, Janaba, can you help us with
when
that?
a needle falls into a well, many people will look into the well, but only a few will be ready to go down after it. Well, yes, we've discussed something.
Let me just connect this to something.
Okay, connected.
Yesterday, Ade Drame was here. Was it Ade?
Yesterday
why am I forgetting so easily now?
It was Ade.
Yes, I mean Ade was here, and we talked about the parliamentarians. Yeah. We talked about reserving seats for women.
Yeah.
Many people will talk about it, but few will be able to at least go the extra mile to make sure this thing happen. So it's like you talk more and you act less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how I am connecting this.
And you're totally right. That is what happens in our and it further goes down to the daily opportunities that we have as Gambians, as individuals. Sometimes there's an opportunity that you see in front of you, but it requires so much work that, you know, majority of the individuals are lazy, and then it's just a few people who have the guts to go for it, to go down and deal with the challenges and the obstacles it comes with to be able to achieve it. it. And, you know, for me, this proverb really translates to, on a daily basis, some of the things that we do, some of the things that we want to go for. Sometimes young people tell me, oh, Jainaba, I want to be a journalist, you know, work at QTV, read the news, do all of that. Sometimes I'm like, hey, but I want to let you know that it comes with a lot of challenges. It's not just about looking nice, being on TV, and just presenting. But I have Ade calling me, telling me, Jainaba,
you have no idea.
I have the likes of other bosses trying to always, Mr. Mboj here, trying to tell me, oh, how are you supposed to pronounce this?
You know,
how are you supposed to
sometimes
do this?
I don't know whether at QTV we are fortunate or unfortunate.
Okay.
I don't even know.
Why do you say that?
In another sense, having people like Mr. Mboj here and Mr. Ade,
What?
I can call it to be very fortunate.
It is.
Yes. But sometimes when you look at it, at some point, how they try to control things, how they try to make sure you are always at the right track.
That's the fortunate
It's difficult.
part.
Yes, it's
but
difficult.
For me,
you can call it. Some
Marulu.
people listen. Some might call it, well, you might be unfortunate. I mean, you know, you might connect it that way. But I know it is good to have them. It is very important to have
for me,
people like Ade and Mr. Mboj.
There's nothing unfortunate about it, in my own opinion. There's nothing unfortunate. If a person is pushing you right, constructively, it's normal. And for me, that's how it has been for me, you know. And
well,
in every institution, you need people like that. Yeah.
For other people who are not ready to learn, who are not ready to move, who are not ready to be creative, who are not ready to accept, might take it as being unfortunate.
Yeah, but
that's
it's
what
not
I mean.
even close
you know,
to
but to me, actually, it is fortunate. I mean, because I'm not perfect, but I've learned a lot from Mr. Mboj. You know, I've learned a lot from the team. I've learned a lot from, you know, Jainaba,
I learn a lot from you on a daily basis.
So, I mean, this is how it works. So, I'm fortunate to have Mr. Mboj.
So, Mr. Mboj, have you been in any situation where, you know, there's a prize in front of you, and the challenges are so much, and you had to think twice as to, am I ready to do this? Should I do it or should I not? And eventually you decided to do it and it yielded dividend. Have you been in such a situation?
My age now, perhaps hundreds.
Hundreds? Can you share one with us? One where a lot of people also see it as a big prize?
No. My life was never about what all the people thought, or whether it's a big prize or a small prize. For me, it has always been, what is it that I want? Set my mind straight. Never mind what anybody else says, really. I am that kind of character. Well, I had friends, one or two, whose decisions I trusted, whose judgment I trusted, so I would listen to them. But generally, the applause or whatever, I'm really not, I don't listen. I'm not really into that. Okay. But coming back to this, what do you call it, the proverb. So for me, I've never heard this one before. But just the imagery conjured by this. Imagine a needle, it seems so small. Right. You're throwing it in a well. Yeah. I can understand why a lot of people will look, but they wouldn't go. That's it. It takes a very, very, very few who will see value in going down to look for that needle. Yeah. It may look very small, but for a long time, that's what we used to knit our clothes. Huh? It's very important. It's a significant thing. It's very small in size, but it's very important. So this is it. And it's always like this. Throughout life. Let's be honest with ourselves. Now we are Democrats, the majority, but most of the movements in human lives were brought about by a very few. Yeah. It's always been like this. Yeah. All the great shifts, you know, in human history, as it were, it's been brought about really by very few, and the rest of us, we just ride onto it. Yeah. That's what happens.
This just reminds me of when Yaya Jammeh was here, you know, majority of the individuals, it was so difficult to actually come out and be honest about things. Everyone just had to like tag along. People, it took courage for certain people to actually come out and speak about it, despite you can be locked up, you can be killed, you can disappear. But we had a specific group of people who refused to be suppressed, and they spoke out. Absolutely. At the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And some of these ministers that we had at the time could have resigned. You know, you had that choice. You could have resigned when you saw that some irregularities, but some just decide to tag along. Like you mentioned, it requires courage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Courage goes to the very heart of things. I once talked to House MCC, and we were talking about courage, and he told me what Koch Barma, that one of philosophers, said, the three pillars, elements of really leadership, and this is it, and one of them, integrity. You got to have courage, and you got to have empathy. So without courage, you can never really be free. You know, philosophers and writers of politics have been telling us for a very, very, very long time that it takes courage to be free. Look at our experiences with Yahya Jammeh. Look at what we heard of the Janet Commission. Or you'll just have, somebody will just come along, HE says you do this. You know that you're not supposed to. You know your processes and your procedures. Now, a certain man, obviously, it was a very, very difficult situation, I have to say, I have to accept. Imagine saying no. It doesn't accord with my rules, my terms of reference. And then there's a consequence, there's a price to pay. Maybe they'll take you and kill you. And maybe you've got family. So I have to say that I'm not going to be moralistic here and say they should have said no.
Exactly. But Mr. Mboj, what I'm saying is, it doesn't mean in certain... I'm not saying you have to like say no in front of Yahya Jammeh. But there were options. I knew of a, you know, auntie or grandma that I had, Mrs. Almeida. She used to be a lecturer at the university. I can remember, according to explanations, Yahya Jammeh, you know, tried so much to employ her as a minister. She refused. And part of the reasons were she knew how the cabinet was, and she refused to do it. So there are certain instances where it's either you refuse,
well, I think, Jenaba, or I agree. Yes.
Or ngadaw, because we saw people had to flee. You know, an option was there, or you resign, let them talk.
Well, it's difficult. At some point, I mean, situation wasn't looking good during Jammeh's time. It was crazy in the sense that even certain things, if you refuse them, they might lock you up, like Mr. Mboj said.
Right.
Maybe you are not, he want to employ you. No, I am satisfied with that. Why? When you are in the system already and you refuse to do what they order you to do.
This is the key. No two situations are exactly alike. We also know of people who said no in the beginning.
Exactly. In terms of the people that said no.
That's it.
Yes.
But again, you've seen it within the system. I mean, you've had some who had refused, but nothing much happened to them.
Right.
And you had others who were killed, you had others who disappeared, had others tortured. So no two situations are exactly alike.
Right.
But we know that given the climate then, by going against certain instructions, you were taking on certain risks.
You were.
That much we knew of it.
Yeah, but anyway.
But it's in situations like that you show courage.
Yeah, so anyway, to the ones that decided to go down the well to collect the needle during Jammeh's time, we're sending you some love and light. Thank you so much for paving the way for freedom in the country. So we will take a short break, and when we come back, we'll head right on to the newspaper review. Do stay tuned.
So many things to do in a single day. It's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. Now we head right on to the newspaper review. That's Point and The Voice.
All right, let's take a look at the headlines of the Point newspaper. Gambia export is about 1.5 billion, says CEO Senghor. And of course, Pura meets Nopal Credit super dealers on trending scam. NAMS approve $34 million Battle Harding Highway project. And of course, community embrace backyard gardening due to NAFA project. Okay, and of course we have another one. Dove hands over fish preservation coolers, gloves to 250 women. Let's look at The Voice. The Voice is Brikama Area Council accused of poor service delivery, stagnant water everywhere. Where is Habibatu Sisay?
The PRO, right?
Security Services orders to punish perpetrators cutting NAVEX cable. Bah says 53 flights to land in Banjul weekly. Gambia Armed Forces urges journalists traveling beyond South Gambia border to seek security briefing. Yes.
Okay, and on Foria here we have that National Assembly member vows to bring back bill to reserve seats for women if re-elected. And Tourism Minister says Gambia receives 53 flights weekly. And also France makes available 50 million euros to Gambia. And also here we have commuters lack faith in government's commitment to address transport challenges. And here sports should promote happiness and unity, not violence. And also same on the editorial, what does a person need to become a candidate in the National Assembly election? So I'm afraid that is all we have here. So we have National Assembly member Mr. Mboj vowing to bring back bill to reserve seats for women after it has failed to survive for its second reading. Yesterday we started this discussion with Mr. Ade, and he pointed out that patriarchy is not ending anytime soon.
No way. Quite interesting for some of us. The first reading, what they had, 35 members attended. The second reading, 34. One of them didn't even bother going back. Yes, this is going to take a while. This is what we talk about when I say that there's a certain fight that's really a generational fight.
Yeah.
Or unless it is why in moments like this, you prefer sort of a tougher, perhaps authoritarian hand who could have just issued a decree. Now, this is going to happen. This is what happens. But we are operating under a democracy.
Yeah.
So we have to accept these things. You know, sometimes it will take a certain leadership, as it were, to quicken, to put some life, as it were, into the legs of certain ideas lagging behind. But again, if you want to do certain things, certain reforms under conditions of democracy, it is much more difficult. This is why they say that maybe development and democracy, be careful, then your development will be very incremental and slow. And this is exactly what's happening here. This is how democracy gives you developments in very slow pieces, as it were.
You know, I sometimes wonder, we organize a whole lot of workshops trying to empower women. We talk about women empowerment, women leadership, you know, but at the end of the time, when it comes to the implementation itself, we are not doing that.
The other day, I think, Jennifer, really, our discussion on symbolisms and substance, it's really about this sort of thing. Oh, yeah, the process-based stuff. Or we've got workshops, retreats. Oh, my God, you have all sorts of things. And then maybe they will agree on certain terms, conditions, and the like. But give them a year or two, go back and see how much of whatever you had agreed has been implemented. What is the outcome? So when it comes to outcomes, things have been really very, very poor. We've been focusing more on what they call process-based management and the like. But the outputs, I'm not sure whether people have been satisfied with the outputs in most areas, really.
Yeah, right. We always talk about this anyway, the issue of workshops and conferences, actually just consuming our time and not looking forward to what else we can do. Yesterday, we also started this particular conversation that has to do with transport. Yesterday, the president of the Gambia Transport Union was here, Omar Cisse, and he said the same thing. He said commuters lack faith in government's commitment to address transport challenges, that really government is not putting in the necessary measures to invest in transport, and just to make sure that the ordinary Gambian, you know, is not pushed to the wall to get a car because transportation is so easy in Gambia.
Granted. What about the Gambia Transport Union? What are they doing to make sure that some of the reckless driving we're seeing in our streets doesn't happen? What are they also doing? We know the accidents, we see the rankings, we've seen the rankings, we've talked about it all the time. It simply cannot be government this, government that, government that. What about you? What are you doing? That also matters. Yes, we understand the state of the roads. We understand the structural challenges we all face, but again, what are you yourself doing? Because what we see, the accidents, everything that's happening cannot entirely be blamed, put at the door of government. We also are culpable to some extent. Let them also try to address that.
Well, I spoke to him yesterday about those things, but you know how union presidents can be quite defensive when it comes to some of these things. But yeah, he said they're working on it and that they do not have powers, according to him, to implement certain things. They're just a union and just advocating. But just moving on.
Yes, that is their job,
yes,
to advocate for their own interests, granted. But they must also have certain standards, high standards that they require every member to adhere to. So that's the way it goes. You know what I mean? If I want good management and organization and all of that from the other, I must demonstrate it.
Well, I think you got it. You said standards. I mean, it should be. I think most of this structure we have here in this country, a lot of them don't have proper structure, proper standards. I mean, so it's really affecting the way things work in this country. Not only the transport.
All the time. Even at work. If one employee does something wrong, and the other employee, goes maybe and tells the boss, oh, dang ma bole. So we confuse these things, so we can never set standards amongst ourselves. We do each other favors, not based on standards, just on favors, convenience. It's just easy. I once had this Senegalese friend who said to me, in Gambia, you're bugalu yomba. It was unbelievable when the person said that.
Linga ekati ni mom degala parce que fi sa collègue mënuta def lu wrong sax nga dem jéem ko explain na ne yow li nga def ni baaxu de wala dem supervisor ne ko li lolu ñun culture bobu mi nanguñ ko.
No, but that is general. It's everywhere.
Why Gambia fi ñun
No, I disagree. I disagree. My experience, for instance, in England. No, I disagree. You have to be completely, you are honest with the person you're dealing with. I've experienced that more here than over there, and I've spent enough time there to have experienced different levels. It's more over here. Over there, they just tell you. They just tell you what it is. They're blunt about it. You have to be blunt about these things.
Even at some point when you talk to your boss, go harm certain things. The person involved afakne dang ko ñew
waaw xam nga lolu moy ne professionalism bi suñu workspace bi dafa dess.
Absolutely.
Lolu la woné ne professionalism bi doore ko du staff yi rek sax ñu ñu nekk ci kaw ñom tam dañ wara defaru ñom
lolu moy affaire ci suuf gis nga bu nekké ne like you are head of an institution or a department da nga wara jup because xam nga comme you have a whole lot of people that you taken care of da nga jup. And most of these things happen in all these departments in this country. Danga gis department bo xamne danga am sa favorite nga xamne ñoñu ngay dealal ñale so ñoñu suñ la rombé gaay dem to the highest authority nga jël ko
why favorite sa du dé ñaaka hejna lolu sometimes
no why when it comes to
personally it could be we get along.
Right, that's what I was trying to come to.
I have nobody's got any problems with that. But when it comes to work,
that's what I'm talking about.
We've got processes and procedures. Wherever you do not have processes and procedures, I'm not really sure about that work. If you've got processes and procedures, that's what we will follow. So the fact that we get along will not interfere with that. I am following objective criteria out there.
But that is why I talked about we go back to the same things every day. I'm just certain things you have that in place pour lenen li dem. Moy ne upbringing lu ñu inculcate ci yow as an individual. That sense of professionalism dafa manke de. People are not professional in their workspaces. They don't respect their job. They feel like they're not supposed to go the extra mile. And all of this has to do with, your sense of maturity on the job and that sense of professionalism. And because we feel like even when it comes to public sector, you have to behave anyhow. Like it's just it's a grassroots problem. I don't even know where to start.
That's it. It's a grassroots problem. It has to go back to really when from family and all the rest of it. We all know society and all of it. Then what matters really, the primary qualities would be how you see yourself. You've been taught at home, perhaps you shouldn't lie, you shouldn't steal, you shouldn't do any of these things. So the idea of a sense of honor begin to creep in. And then when you become a professional, then this is it. These are the resources, as it were, having that sense of honor. Can you imagine that? If I tell you that I'm going to do something at 3 p.m., I am going to do it at 3 p.m. This is what it means. And then to be reliable.
As a person.
The consistency. That is what is social trust. Without that trust, as a society, we cannot do anything, and there's no trust.
Consistency is lacking. Okay, let's deal with this, gentleman.
All right, right.
Security Service ordered to punish perpetrators cutting NAWEX cable.
Okay.
Well, catch them first. The last time I had them, they're still investigating. Yes, this is going to be extremely difficult. How do you police this? Somebody has suggested that whether we should station police officers or security personnel in all the boreholes. Can we do that?
No.
Can the police afford it?
So this
is where the community must come in. How can they mobilize everywhere where there's a borehole? How can you mobilize for the community there to have some kind of security? Only they can police it. You know what I mean?
In fact, I don't think, Mr. Modi, we should have gone to the level of where the community should mobilize. I mean, we should have taken this responsibility. This belongs to everybody. Absolutely. And once you cut a wire, you are causing a whole lot of problems. You know, Absolutely. We have hospitals, we have a whole lot of places that are depending on that electricity. So once it goes off, I mean, people are going to suffer.
This is it, the social cost. So the police will do, or the security people will do what they need to do. But again, the community, we must do what we need to do. So it's always like this. It is never the situation. Sometimes I think that's what we want, that we just sit and say, oh, something is wrong, so I will point my finger. So that person should come and sort it out. There's no demand on me. It's so easy to make demands on others, but not on ourselves. We never put any demands on ourselves. We like easy stuff. Let's be honest with ourselves. This is what I see all over the place. Perhaps I'm not even free of it to some extent. So we just like making demands of others, not so much of ourselves.
So moving on, let's take a look at the parliamentary elections before we go. Parliamentary elections, GPDP to contest on the NPP ticket. Is this a surprise anyway?
No, I thought they were.
Yeah,
this is part
I
of
thought
the coalition.
it's just there. You know.
So what is the point of saying it now? Or maybe, I think, well, we're not sure. I remember the last time I heard Ahmad Hamad on Heu saying that his party will compete. So we do not know. Remember the coalition, 2016?
Yeah.
Afterwards, when they came, they disaggregated, as it were, into their own individual parties. Will it happen this time? I do not know. Maybe some might contest certain seats, you know,
but
in the party ticket.
But I don't know. There are just certain parties where contesting is like a no need. Considering that you've not been campaigning, you've not been there, you know, your ideas are not even out. People do not even know what you're working towards.
Well, when we look at, for instance, membership in the National Assembly, it seems nil. When we look at the local councils, it seems nil.
Nothing.
When we look at wards and all the rest of it, it seems nil. So what does that tell you? People can make their own judgments about this party.
They can't. So, I mean, like you mentioned, why say it? But judging from 2016, you know, politics can change. It's unpredictable. So you never know which party might just come up with something new. So I'm afraid that is all we have time for, unless what does a person need to be, what a person is supposed to do to become a National Assembly member. I think it's important. People still do not know what NAMs, what the responsibilities of NAMs are. So hopefully we'll see this council, the National Civic Council, to come and
I think it's important also to discuss the qualification. You know, I think this is affecting us. I mean, every Tom, Dick and Harry want to contest for parliamentary elections. I think it's important for our parliamentary elections to be capable of handling the position. It's not just a matter of liking somebody or having popularity. You know, we put you. Remember, you are representing a whole community, a whole division. I mean, so it's important.
Division. It's been.
Lower River
Making it sound like the army.
I know.
The army of divisions and stuff like that.
Division, SES.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring you back to SES.
Bale, we are in a democracy. Yeah? We can say whatever we like, but we know that with these things, it depends on how you can appeal to popular sentiment. We know the caliber, the quality of members in the National Assembly. We've seen everybody, we've said, really, we want the grade, as it were. We want to upgrade.
Well, for me, if I am to rate the National Assembly members, it wouldn't be more than 5.
Okay.
Yes. If I
anyway,
am to rate
for
them,
me,
why?
Well, I've listened to them. I've listened to a whole lot of them. I'm not saying I'm better
Don't
than them.
mention.
I'm not mentioning. But I know if I am to at least gauge their competency, it won't be more than 5 people.
Now, that is interesting. So what does that tell you about us? We voted them in there. Yeah. So what are you saying about Gambians?
Well, Gambians...
We voted them in.
We voted them
So there's a direct link.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, we have a problem.
Yeah.
We have a big problem.
And for me, really, I just believe that National Assembly members should be really competent because they have different committees that they're heading, committees where they're supposed to hold certain parastatals and institutions accountable. So if they do not know what they're doing, then there are a lot of things that these institutions will get away with. So it's left to us as individuals. It goes down to us now. Let's understand that these are people leading us. These are people making rules, and we have to vet them. It has to be the proper people put there. And I do not support the idea of one party dominating the National Assembly. Then the National Assembly is meaningless because we dance to the tune of one individual and what one individual thinks. So anyway, we will not make the decision for you. We'll just inform you. But hopefully, you know, we will have a better parliament this time.
Yes, we're hoping that sort of experienced people. People with certain skill sets, analytical skills, because you're dealing with legislation.
Right.
It will have consequences years to come.
Right.
I must be worldly. I must know what is going on
and 5 years
around,
is
around the world.
5 years, there's a lot of things that can happen.
There must be that breadth of mind. There must be so much to a legislator. Yeah. It is so important. But these days, any kid who hasn't got any experience at all will come and say, oh, I want to be this, or use this youth, that use this youth, that youth that has not gone through its apprenticeship.
Mr. Bush, I am on my apprenticeship right now. Thank God my master is here. But what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to the issue of young people, I've seen a lot of people go on social media to say, just because we want young people to be there, it does not mean it's just any young person. That is not what youth organizations and people who are advocating for more young people are advocating for. We're talking about young people who are capable. You know, I've recently seen a young person who's a lawyer, you know, trying to, people like that, you know. And people are not crazy to put in young, they know what is happening. They won't just put in any young person for the name of young person.
Granted. But in this case, it's not about the person is a lawyer, or the person is a doctor, or the person is an engineer. Has the person got the right experience to sit in there? Your paper cannot do your work for you.
That is true.
You, the person, you will have to do your own work. You see, this is what we said. Certification, paper doesn't mean much, my dear.
It doesn't mean much, but
it is
Mr. Bush, what I also want to say is, if you do not,
it's not always the same.
In Gambia here, if you go into an institution to look for a job, for example, when I was coming to QTV, I did not have a lot of media experience, unless some of the things that I was doing for fun, not for seriousness. For example, if QTV said, oh, we will not hire Jainaba because she doesn't have all of the 5 years experience we're looking for, they would have missed out on talent, for example, right? Yes. But in this case as well, the person has the paper. There are times where you give people chances.
Because of the paper?
Not because of the paper, but Mr. Bush, you can look at certain things. Okay. There are other things. Yep. Interpersonal relationship, communication skills, ability to debate. You can look at all of this.
That's one part. Now let me give you the other part.
Okay.
I knew of somebody who had 2 master's degrees. So he wanted a lowly position, really, at the British High Commission. So he went there. So interview. So the High Commission said, oh, fantastic, 2 master's degrees. But what is it that you can do? He didn't get it. You see, this is the point. There are different ways. What is it that you can do? This is how, when you go to Britain, for instance, that's what it is. You can have 200 PhDs. I'm telling you, you go to certain jobs. Bye-bye.
People like that, then you do not employ them. But people who have no experience and you ask them what they can do and they serve it to you, those people deserve a chance.
The paper matters.
It does.
But don't turn it into a fetish.
It's not, but it goes
which
side by
I see
side.
some people do.
It goes side by side.
Don't turn it into a fetish.
Yeah.
It is
You
about
have to
the
have
skill
the
set.
kit and you have to have the experience.
Well,
Put them together.
Yes, they go together.
Wow.
But there are many without the kit, but they are absolutely brilliant.
Those are the special instances. Special instances.
Lolo
but when you have the two, ladies and gentlemen, you always stand out. It's important, right? Anyway, we'll go for a short break. We'll go for a short break, and now we'll head right on to the inspirational story. We're joined by a female taxi driver. She decided just to, ignore, all of the comments and everything and head right onto the road and just behave like the male, not even behave like the male counterparts, but just drive in her own way to earn her living, and is motivating a lot of young girls. She'll join us soon. Fatou Sane, we'll be right back.
Best product in town is back. QCell's MiFi router. Get the best MiFi in the country for just $2,800 and connect up to 15 users with 4G internet speeds and a long-lasting battery life. So rush now to any of our customer care locations and get the best for less while stocks last. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Boss, the Gambia's quality network. We innovate, others follow. Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
To build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With the touch of your fingers,
With ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
Now, with Aji Bank, you can make your vehicle number plate payments without any hassle. Walk into any of our bank branches or agencies located at Banjul, New Joswang, Karaba Avenue, Bakote, Tranquil Brusubi, Brikama, Basse, Farafenye, Numuyel or Garawol. Your number plate payments now made easy with Aji Bank. For more information, please call us on 422-8405 or 377-5811. Aji Bank, your investment partner.
Welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. And now to a very exciting segment. We're joined by Fatou Sane. Fatou, man kontaan naa de nga war a ñëwaat fii waxtaan ak ñun about sa journey nekk taxi driver bu jigéen, am sa doom di sëy di raxas bool di tooga di yekka di am pour def loolu noonu yëpp di ko boole fii si biir Gambia am na fi te mun na fee am. But first of all, ñu ngi laa dalal si programme bi ba pare di la laajte yow naka la ñëwee si yow pour nga door taxi driving. Liggéey yi bari nañ de mënoon ngaa wax ne mun naa def lii mun naa def leen li toog si office def leneen waaye nga bàyyi loolu yëpp ne yow lii nga bugg a def.
Ok, asalaamaaleykum maa ngi leen a nuyu naka suba si. Ok, Jenaba, like loolu ma laajte good question la. Because bu nekk jigéen nekk si taxi driving yombut. But liggéey la boo xam ne dama ko yaaga bugga. Because comme for the first time, that was in 20 Fatina year bi but maa ngi doon seetaan GRTS ma gis benn jigéen ñu ko ooyee Hadi. I think that's her name. Recently nekku fi but foog naa Hadi la tudda. So ma gis ko ñu ko interview, she was a taxi driver, sorry. By then maa ngi woon school. So bu ma ko gisee comme dara la loo xam ne ñëw na si suma yéene pour def ko daal. Ma ne kii fu mu demee ba di ko def. And nekkut Gambia kese, other countries like Senegal su ma demee dama dee gis jigéen yi yoo xam ne ñu ngi liggéey di def taxi so man tamit loolu dara loo xam ne daf ma inspire trop ma ne foog naa man tamit bés bu ma am moto daal mun naa koo def as far as suma morom yi ñu ngi koo def kay.
All right, so due to just some technical issues there. Now, Ibrahim, I think we can go for a short commercial break. So we'll go for a short break.
Okay, we can, yeah.
Probably no need to go for a short break. I'll just ask Ibrahim here, if your wife was a taxi driver, so taxi driver la buga neka, din ko support. For example, honest na. Wow.
Well, actually, without hearing her story, Dumako support.
Don't support
I would not have allowed it. You know why?
Wow.
I'm giving you my honest opinion.
Wow, not honest, right?
You know why? Because I'm sitting here looking at her, thinking, what about motor visudeme bempan? Somewhere lonely. Naka nga de manage ak driver, lifini, fita, mechanics. You know, because it takes a great deal. I have a car, so hamna. How difficult it is. I'm talking about the difficult bit of it.
Wow.
Why bu nekkee ne comme dawal la rek nga dem wàcce passenger mu kii éeg loolu is easy loolu sax is a nice job, it's a noble job. Waaye dama xalaat mechanics yi how do you deal with them because dafa hectic trop pour dem jëndi bagage jëndali sali jeex na you know water pump bi yaaxu na those are hectic.
So balaa nga tontu su ko defee everything connect dellu waatal si fi nga emoon balaa ñëw doon ñëw pour fix just that small issue waaw yaa ngi doon explainer kooku mun na koo def mun nga koo def soo paree nga ñëw si question yi
ok ma tontu ko like comme lu ma doon explain mooy like bu ma time ma nekkoon school Hadi laa njëkk a gis muy drive Gambia fii as a female taxi driver by then maa ngi woon school so bu ma ko gisee daf ma inspire a lot te nekkut moom kese other countries like Senegal because dama fa dee dem at times dama dee gis jigéen yoo xam ne dañ dee dawal taxi so loolu dara la loo xam ne dama gis ne ñooñu jigéen leen ñu ngi koo def why not man su ma amee moto kay loolu nekk na suma yéene su ida tey la wala ëllëg in future daal su ma amee su dee nekkut ne maa ngi si leneen su ma amee moto daal dama bëggoon a def taxi far yàlla def affaire bi yomba sant yàlla waaw like moom lu mu doon laajee tamit bàyyi ma tontu foofu mu ngi doon wax ne like comme moom su dee jabaraam la mu laajte ko
waaw ndax dina nekk taxi driver I don't have a problem of driving
waaw
loolu awma si problem while the problem that I have boo demee ba sa moto bi am breakdown nga war a struggle to go to the mechanic I am pretty sure dang dee am issue boobu
waaw dama ko dee am
waaw loolu rek moo nekk li nga xam ne man xaw naa si ragal waaye pour suma jabar nekk driver dawal dem jël client that's a noble job that's a very important job we need it every day transport is very important whether góor bi or jigéen bi you know waaye comme man foofu rek laa xaw a ragal
si man jarut ragal because dafa mel ni kuy jaay marché sa marchandise su jeexee dangaa dem pour jëndaat ñëw teg ko jaayaat so dangaa gis ne loolu dafa mel ni yaa ngi drive still it's all the same so dangaa gis ne ak liggéey area liggéey boo munti dem daal su dee lii moo tax liggéey bi dem loolu su amut foofu obviously foog nga try nga am loolu pour mun a def liggéey so man driving gisuma ko loo xam ne comme dama dee am loolu like sa question bi bàyyi ma answer ko sax nga mun a understand balaa maa dem into another story like dama dee am loolu sometimes loolu mus na maa dal I think suma tànki moto bi waaw moo amoon breakdown suma break banda bi si gannaaw xaw ma foog naa noonu la rek
waaw break banda bi
ok si gannaaw boobu moo amoon fault so loolu dafa amoon problème man yéeguma ko but maa ngi dégg noise si moto bi so ku ma jàngal moto ma call ko man because moom still daf ma jàngal but bàyyut ma time to time daf ma dee call laajte ma naka nga def ak traffic bi stuffs like that so bu ma déggee noise ma ko man ko am na noise bu ma dégg si moto bi understand ma mu ne ma fan la ma da explain mu ne ma lii la te it was that so noonu laa managé ba àgga si kër bi beneen bi suma fan belt bi moo dog
waaw boobu nag moo nekk problème boobu su dogee
waaw boobu suma fan belt bi moo dog time bu maa ngi jógee all the way from Gunjur so suma daw moto bi mun na moo overheat
dafa tàng
waaw dafa tàng so ma gis ne because man moto bi mostly su tàngee ba tànga 60 la dee am so ma gis ne egg na above 60 dem na ba boori 80 yooyu si laa xalaat ma ne waa lan ma ne suma ndox but su dee ndox la dafa indicate si laa paak ma ubbi lii bi ma seet ma realize ne suma belt bi moo dog after ma call kooku ma explain ma ne ko suma fan belt bi moo dog de mu ne ma ne loolu du problème mun nga koo manage ba agsi wante make sure soo dawee for nga wàññi sa tànka te soo dawee for a short distance nga taxaw yokka ndox si lifin bi si ndox bi fu mu dee nekk soo noonu laa manage ba agsi loolu soo xam nga comme ni ma la waxee rek
gis nga loolu coono la
waaw waaye li ma la bëgg a laaj yow mais ma
waaw sorry
yow li ma la bëgg a laaj mooy fiil nga ne loolu coono la lu tax nga fa ne jigéen warta def go through coono boobu noonu
waa xam nga comme ni bu nekkee ne jigéen la ñun dañ fiil ne jigéen should be protected ñun loolu lañ fiil we don't want our women to go through xam nga all this struggle all this coono although góor fu moo amee understand nga góor fu moo amee jigéen war naa try mu amee foofu waaye comme the difficulty bit of it loolu
Balde
ok sorry
li ma laa yëgal
xaaral ma tontu ko foofu
ba pare nga abal
xaaral ma tontu la foofu nga ne bugguloo jigéen mu dem si coono what did Islam said when it comes to Islam Islam said that jigéen waruta dem marché islamically jigéen waruta dem marché góor moo war a dem marché ndugal jigéen bi mu asi ko jigéen bi tooga
mu jeex
but est-ce que loolu mu ngee dem
waaye islam boobu tam mu ne men are the protectors of women loolu la
waa léegi ñu ñoo dóor si kër yi may ma am na ñu ñoo may ma rek kër yi may ma rek ma expliqué la bu dee loolu la protection la bëgguloo dara bu ko jox paaka mu xooli li ñoom dafaa dog loxoom bi na toog mu fudanu ba baax fudanu laa wax
yow nga xooli
fudanu aju si kaw lal ba toog bu dee loolu la kon bu mu def anything loo xam ne daf koo xam
waaw loolu dëgg la gis nga comme sa doom yi sa soo demee ba am ay doom it is pour sa doom bi nga nampal ko sax it's the right pour dad bi according to scholars nuñ dee waxee pour nga fay sa jabar mu def loolu
very good
understand it is
right mu fee am jamono buñ toll
waaw xam nga comme society bi nu mel there are good people ak there are people that you know affaire yi nga xam ne lu leen favourite at all loolu dañ koo jël ñu jump religion bi
anyway fii nii xam nga religion su duggee
waaye man actually
bi oustaz ja dina si tontu
waaye man nag
waaye man li ma wax mooy
comme nu moo aanee is halal as far as mu ngi set loolu moo gën a important ok mënoon ngaa toog nga depend on people but you are doing on your own loolu moom is perfect loolu baax
waaye xam nga ñun fan lañ agree wutoon ak yow foo ne moto bi su amee breakdown yooyu moom foofu la
waaye loolu is struggle and si agree that is a struggle
waaye struggle bi tam ñu ko struggle si kii
waaw the same thing so man loolu gisuma ko as something big
waaye
su dee private la so sorry let me come su dee sa jabar like private la nekk di dawal mun na moo am breakdown léegi su amee breakdown the same thing lu ma encounter the same thing la moo encounter so da ngaa gis ne the difference between private and commercial the only difference is the paint bi rek a nekk different but apart from that gisuma si benn different as far as moto la yaa ngi siy dawal yaa ngi siy dugga di dawal kii su amee breakdown yoo nga am breakdown the same encounter
waaw affaire yi tooga mi nag xam nga dafa nice
mais moom daf lay tooga sax
non affaire yi tooga bi dafa nice nga toogal sa jëkkër mu lekka
dama dee def loolu
non gis naa la yaa ngi tooga
won leen ma ko
non loolu gis naa ko
waaw Mariama dafa
non affaire yi tooga bi comme lu moo wax ni jigéen ñi waaw this is perfect xam nga yaa ngee tooga you know why because da nga bugga sa jëkkër ñëw mu am lu moo lekka xam nga loolu noonu mbugeel bi dem na foofu la mbugeel bi nekk dafa nice nga tooga sa jëkkër lekka ko moo gën sa jëkkër xam nga ne doo bugga sa jëkkër dugga mu tooga
non
you will not allow that
du ko nangu
xam nga ba pare doo nangu sa jëkkër dem di jënd teka bi
non bëgguma man suma jëkkër du ma dee nangu mu
waaw soo fi mu ne nii nañ wax si dara gis nañ ne Gambia fii soo nekkee jigéen nga nekk si male dominated field mooy field bi nga xam ne góor yi ñoo fa dee gën a nekk dang dee dégg lu bari according to the outlook am na study bi nga xam ne def nañ ko in India parce que India nekk na dëkk boo xam ne jigéen yu bari dañuy dawal waaye liñ dee faral a dégg jigéen yi mooy ma dimbale góor bi biñ daf dee wax ma dimbale la nga reverse mbaa di nga mun a paak wala ñu seet seen baag yi baalal ma balaa ngaa dawal bàyyi ma seet suma insurance bi seet na suma insurance baa ngi fi parce que mun nga maa rey yooyu yëpp dañ ko dee wax te gis nañ ne daf dee happen si yeneen dëkka yow ak wax yooyu yëpp naka nga dee mun a rombee loolu yëpp nga continuer def sa liggéey
waaw loolu man sax dama ko dee am sometimes because driving calculation la nit soo buggee paak foog nga def calculation balaa ngaa paak soo buggee bàyyi lu nekk calculation la so da ngaa gis ne sometimes man su ma buggee ñëw paak da ngaa gis suñ garage sax am na ñu ma dee wax no foofu ne booy f bàyyi ma paagal la ma ne noo mu ngi baax dama dee insist because xam naa ne fii xëj naa fa soo dama try ma duga su ma munee taxaw foofu ma try ma taxaw soo loo xam ne munuma ko loolu nag dama ko dee lii wante pour paak wala yi sometimes loolu daf dee mën a am wala ñeneen dañooy dugga si moto bi sax ñu xool ma xay jigéen la siis mbaa yow ma ne noo kaa ñu dem rek ñu bàyyi yëpp si loxi yaan so su dee private la ma may la leave dangaa comfortable why not suma dawal taxi soo duggee you need to be comfortable
waaw xam nga it's more of the concept the notion that we have ne taxi pour góor la understand nga why we need people like you to change the narrative
right
suñ amee yow
mostly su ma demee liggéey ni lu nekk dama ko programme daal time la su ma jógee suba liggéey bi dama liggéey ba this time su ma wàccee this time ma make sure suma doom tamit foog ma spend xawma time with her pour xam nga we get waaw ñu miinante daal loolu tamit dama dee make sure ma def create time boobu den time bu ma war a tooga tamit dama ko am fóot tamit dangaa gis ne fóot moom yomba na daal suma fóot gaawut nag xam naa suma gaay suñu gisee ñu ne mënut fóot
yaa ngi nii di fóot waaw yaa ngi nii di fóot di def yëpp
parce que gars loolu leen ma dee toon ñu ne ma fóot rek nga bañ xam nga jigéen moom liggéey daf dee am boo dee bañ gisuloo man nag fóot baax na so dangaa gis ne dama dee make sure most of the time like yére bu ma simi instead duma ko dee bëgg a dajale buddi boobu laa koo xooj fajar balaa maa sangu ma raba ko rek after ma weer ko sooga dem su ma waree tooga Sunday suma amee time ma dem def suma shopping def ko si fridge suma amul time tamit suma demee liggéey suma wàcca dem def suma shopping after ma tooga reer waaw bés bu ma demut liggéey nag bés boobu dama tooga añ bu neex
nga jox ko sa papa
nga lal ko foofu
borom kër gi waaw xam nga borom kër is very important when it comes to this what about doo dee am ñi nga xam ne dañ la dee bëgg a jaay advantage maybe bëgguma ne góor yi I mean góor yi you know amuloo ki nga xam ne ñi nga xam ne situation bi nga xam ne dañoo bëgg a xëccoo yow you know over certain things
waaw dama ko dee am because sometimes xam nga trafic ku nekk ak sa wërsëg la loo war a am si bés bi yàlla loolu la moo binda ne la nga am man nag I'm always grateful anyway su dee si bés bi génn naa $100 si laa liggéey dama dee xam ne te yàlla lii la binda ne loolu laay am but sometimes da nga dee gis ne kii su customer like xam nga ñeneen dañ dee taxaw si tali bi ñu ne taxi so di moment ñu ne taxi képp kuy taxi driver sa noppa daf dee ne soo déggee taxi rek yow da ngaa paak pour jël customer so su dee dafa wax taxi yow yaa ngi si other side of the road man ma taxaw ñeneen den ma dee wax sister yow da nga giri di nii ne du ma leen dee faale su ma wërsëg la su ma agréé ak moom ma yóbbu ko suñ d'accordu tamit maybe yow nga yóbbu ko sometimes yeneen góor yi den ma dee wala ma taxaw si yoon bi yaa ngi suma gannaaw nga bugg a romba nga korne ma faalewu ma la parce que man sometimes dama leen dee ignore foog ma jël suma customer ba pare nga korne ma faalewu ma la léegi-léegi da ngaa gis ñu ne ma sister yow xam nga ñu maa jéema lii waaw man duma leen dee faale nag because góor leen
dañ bugg a xam ban time nga dee job comme timing bi is very important
ban time laa dee dem ak ñëw
si suba nga dee dem wàcca boori 7
waaw
you know o dang dee mën a jël town trip si guddi ak yooyu noonu
waaw si suba mostly 6:30 laa dee génn wala sometimes 7 because dama dee yóbbu ay student school so dangaa gis ne duma dee bëgg a ñëw ñu late ñun sharp 7 leen wax so dama dee make sure 6:30 because léegi fajar boori 6:40 leen ko dee julli suma party 6:40 so dangaa gis ne di moment ñu pare julli rek fekka prepare na suma boppa ma génn yóbbu xale yooyu so sometimes dama dee nekk si trafic bi ba boori 12 wala 1 ma dem si kër bi dem seet suma doom si lum nekka doo mag la de bot dama dee bëgg a xam tamit si lum nekka su ma delloo seet si lum nekka ma nekka foofu maybe su dee dafa lekka maalo nii ma toogal ko lu moo lekka bàyyi ko foofu after ma génnaat dem liggéey daal ba boor 5 daal daf dee fekk wàcca naa but guddi tamit su dee yeneen customer yi den ma call ñoo xam ne xam naa leen wala wóolu naa pour yóbbu leen dama dee mun a génn sometimes dem jëli gaay most of the time sax su ma jëkkër su dee he is less busy moom daf ma dee mun a assist ñu ànd
ngeen dem
ok ba pare last time bi nga ñëwee waxoon nga ma ne sometimes soo amee temps bi guddi sa jëkkër dafa dee gunge mu toog si kanam loolu tamit
waaw daf ma dee over
so loolu mooy wane ne nit lan la loolu woon sa jëkkër de def loolu yow loolu lan la woon
loolu daf ma woon affaire yi mbëggeel when it comes to love ok because góor bu la nopp moo mën a def sacrifice boobu ba pare tamit comme wóolute la daal nekkul ne daf ma ñaaka wóolu moo tax mu maa toppade but daf ma nekka di encourage ba pare at the same time mu ma motivate tamit moo tax foog naa muy def yeneen sacrifice tamit
so wax ñu si yëfi taxi xaalis bi sa broda interview naa ko mu ne ma sometimes su cangee si month bi yaa dee ekkati na ko am de kon dafa mel ni taxi driving taxi driving
we need to consider this
ma bëgg a deka driver
lii dañ ko war a consider
wax ma si taxi driving bi because sa broda wax na ma ne man ne sometimes sa nga ne ko bro téye li
waaw loolu it's normal because men su nekkul driving sax nit si lépp loo munti nekka dëgg la xaalis neex na ok soo ko amee lu bari mun koo denca but tamit family tamit matter na a lot because yaa ngi si tey xamuloo in future lu yàlla di andi so dangaa make sure su dee $5 nga am I'm not saying nga jël yëpp jox ko sa family because you cannot satisfy your family understand but at least léegi-léegi nga génnee men $100 la 50 wala lu ko ëppa sax ku la munti wax soxlaam su dee am nga ko nga jox ko fekka du la sonal waaw sometimes dama dee def loolu daf dee am suma family members yoo xam ne man sax leer na ma ne man maa leen war a ñaan ñoon den ma dee ñaan loolu duma ko dee jëlaas big thing because after all we are family family that's what matter dan xam nga xaalis
waaw family foog ñu dimbale wante moo ñoo yóbbu ñun yëpp that's very important
and then so how do you gis naa ne da nga am 2 images loolu gis naa ko so naka nga dem maintainer loolu ñaari image nga am booy dem si fii xam naa ne tey da ngaa dem drive moo tax nga def lii waaye gis naa ne in a normal circumstance dafa def me ko bam sol mi bam so naka nga dem manage to know that okay this is the time to take care of myself my skin everything and I know you're very keen when it comes to that parce que gis naa la nga def ko
waaw loolu because nit comme suma liggéey la maa ngi dem driving suma waree def makeup other stuff suma demee before the end of the day dangaa ji suma kanam nu moo appear duma ko appreciate that so instead foog naa nu ma dressé nii that's the right way pour suma dem drive nag waaw sometimes suma drive nii suma dressé dugga si taxi bi ñeneen before ñu realize ne jigéen la suma leen rombee leen dee soog a realize ne kii jigéen la dangaa gis hey kon kii jigéen la fekka man romba naa la already but su dee affaire yi génn la nii wala dafa am fu ñuy dem waaw dama solo ba nice daf dee tane nag anyway
and I really love it you know because you're trying to actually balance the two things
man lu ma ko ñaan rek as far as start nañ because gisoon nañ jigéen bu ko def jigéen boo mention noonu dama doon tasee moom Westfield waaye at some point du ma ko dee gisaat depuis bu ma gisee kii ni suma xel bi si kooku la dem you know waaye after bu ma gisee image bi ma xam ne no it's a different one you know so we are calling on women as far as yow nga ne the struggle is normal for you you don't have any issue with xam nga the day to day in and out of it I think dañ war a encourage more women xam nga soo ne youth employment ak you know self nga taxawal sa bopp you have to create your own job you have to create your own thing because tey yow sa soxla yaa ko dem fajal sa boppa you know so I think it's important we need more of this at least to change the scenario and the narrative
waaw loolu moom dëgg la Hadi man she was the first like comme nu ma ko waxee moom laa njëkk a gis muy def driving but léegi gisatuma ko but laajte naa ay mbiraam ñu ne according to what they told me ñu ne dafa am international appointment so moom right now nekkut fi foog naa ak si suma gis daal foog naa moo tax mu quit wala maybe su quitut sax maybe loolu la dem defi daal waaw so man right now man ak benn jaaxa mu ngi Banjul astu right now ñun ñoo nekk di def driving but when it comes to motivation fi transport union Mr. Omar Cissé president bi moom he is doing a lot because man suma bopa sa bum gisee suma interview I think moom moo ko njëkk a gis from
moo call sa personally
very good mu call
Jeena
mu boole ma ak Jeena ba moom tamit he is doing a lot.
He was sitting here
yesterday very good moom tam mu ngi def liggéey bu baax nag because man suma boppa léegi-léegi daf ma dee call encourage ma men nit su la jox motivation words su dee joxut la xaalis sax those words alone daf dee mun a tax si lépp loo munti nekk rek da nga dee mun a góorgóor so moom tamit mu ngi def a lot daal when it comes to driving sector moom tam mu ngi
so nañ ko affaire police yi I hope ne police yi duñ la dee indil issue
police ak driver musu ñoo juboo
waaw I hope ne duñ la dee indil issue ak yooyu noonu si trafic bi what is your relationship yow ak police yi
police yi suñ relation anyway at so now ak lu romba nag thank God because sometimes dama dee def mistake man suma boppa dama dee xam ne lu ma def
mistake la
waaw
léegi-léegi ñu ne la ma ne sa belta bi takkuloo ko
paagal loolu nag suma duggee nag belta laa dee njëkk a taka because suma bakkan bii
you have a family to live for
te dama bëgg a xam ban président mooy ñëwaat after Barrow
thank you
mun naa nekk yow xanaa gisuloo ma tey dama prépare pour président si fan yi
man sa gannaaw nga def ma vice
waaw mu jeex rek running mate
so da ngaa gis ne police yi nag su ma defee offense nii suñ ma waxee lii nga def dama leen di apologize because dama dee xam ne ma mistake wante su ma nekkee si suma right police nga ñëw di ma wala comme léegi-léegi driver yëpp romba checkpoint la de driver yëpp romba laajuloo kenn insurance laajuloo kenn driving license ma ñëw nga laaj ma duma la dee jox because loolu dal na ma turntable police bi moom daanaka daf ma bugg a seewloo daal wala daf ma bugg a wàccee si suma liggéey bi noonu laa ko gisee dama ñëw fekka ko si trafic bi nekkul di jël papers yi sax di xool papers yi but dama agsi di moment ma agsi rek mu break ma mu ne ma ne sister yow jigéen nga ma ne ko seetal lekk loolu laa ko waaw mu ne ma jigéen nga ma ne ko seetal rek mu ne ma ne bu ma ko waxee loolu mu ne ma ne ma xool sa lantin bi ma ne ko duma la jox suma lantin lan laa def mu ne ma ne waaw yow sax ku la jox lantin xam nga mu bëgg a isi story ma ne ko oncle ma ne ko ne for the respect I have for you ma ne ko ne no more nga gis ma si trafic nga break ma di ma laaj suma kayit ma ne ko duma la jox because you are not encouraging me you are discouraging me ma ne ko ku ma jox lantin ku ma ko joxut bu ko lijjanti soo bëggee xam demal headquarters a police officer depuis loolu wax naa ko ma ne ko soo nekkee si checkpoint bi sax du ma taxaw and I have the right to do so because yow danga ma gis in a civilized way in a polite way soo ma bëggee laajte suma kayit def ko in a way that man suma boppa dinaa la ko jox wante defuma dara ma ñëw rek nga ne because of jigéen la so di ma lifin xam nga loolu nice daal that day I feel offended bu ma ko rombee nag affaire bi daf ma naxari wante xam nga lu nekk liggéey boo munti nekk muñ la daal neexut so dama ko romba ma ignore ko since then nag dama dee gisanteeg moom dañ dee nuyuwante nice but musut ma disturb kooku rek laa musa amal problème but apart from kooku benn police nag tàngoor
waaye pour temps bi jeex na ba pare ma bëgg a xam rek waxoon nga ma ne yow bëgguloo liggéeyal kenn da nga bëgg a liggéeyal sa bopp dem ba am sa compagnie so yaa ngi see dox
waaw bu baax sax man kay maa ngi uti sponsor yow sax xam naa si ngay bokk
yow loo wax rek ngay doon jaama
xam naa si ngay bokk man kay loolu bëgg naa ko torop sax
so you want to set up something yoo xam ne jigéen yi ngay rek
jigéen yi rek even su nekkul driving sector mun na moo nekk beneen secteur boo xam ne jigéen yi rek lay involve foofu daal anyway
just to encourage them so finally time bi jeex na tak lan ban message nga am pour jigéen yu nekk si biti feel ne mënuñoo def liggéey bii nii
nañ góorgóorlu rek man daal loolu laa am pour wax ñu góorgóorlu buñ xeebaate liggéey ida lu nekk daal sa ñaxa nga am ko si lu set daal moo gën a am solo daal.
All right. Thank you so much, Fatou, for joining us, and good luck. And thank you so much for convincing Ibrahima Balde here. Ibrahima convinced na la jeex na tàkk.
xam nga daf ma dee saf maam Seex.
yow sa jabar sax dinaa ko recruter.
xam naa mu dee seetaan xam naa time bi dafa ne ku wax kii ne man mënuma def tàkk.
Mbaadu.
xam naa mu ngi woon
Yes, so we will now go for a short break, and when we come back, we head right on to Sports World.
The best product in town is back. QCell's MiFi router. Get the best MiFi in the country for just $2,800 and connect up to 15 users with 4G internet speeds and a long-lasting battery life. So rush now to any of our customer care locations and get the best for less while stocks last. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Boss, the Gambia's quality network. We innovate, others follow. Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
To build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With a touch of your fingers,
With ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
You can make your vehicle number plate payments without any hassle. Walk into any of our bank branches or agencies located at Banjul, New Joswang, Karaba Avenue, Bakote, Tranquil Brusubi, Brikama, Basse, Farafenye, Numuyel or Garawol. Your number plate payments now made easy with Aji Bank. For more information, please call us on 422-8405 or 377-5811. Aji Bank, your investment partner.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make,
Welcome back from that short break. They've already shown our next presenter here. Yes, they have, without even an introduction. So you do not need one. Thank you so much for joining us.
That must be the job of Edu.
Yes, there's no need for an introduction. Thank you for
I won't
joining
bother
us.
introduce myself, but my name is Ade Darami, just in case you don't know me. Yeah, it's great to be here. And Jennifer, I almost didn't recognize you with the Opticalia spectacles. You look very, very different.
Thank you.
But they suit you.
Thanks.
Sports today is all about football. The Women's Africa Cup of Nations. They'll be showing some B-rolls behind me, but I'll talk about teams that have qualified or close to qualifying, and also I'll be talking about the football miracle that is needed. And then finally, we'll be talking about, well, not finally, we'll be talking about the stadium that was opened yesterday in Senegal. And also, there's one picture that I want to show right at the end, and I'll be asking a question because that picture has gone viral, and when you see it, you'll understand why it's gone viral. But to get onto the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON as they're calling it, Senegal it's been 10 years since they qualified for it, and they actually have now gone through tightest game ended 1-1, and they went to a penalty shootout against Mali, and Senegal won 3-2. And for them, it was great because, of course, as we'll be talking about later, obviously their men are the African Cup of Nations champions for this year, and their stadium was opened yesterday, just 20 miles away from Dakar. So big footballing year for Senegal already. Zambia. They are the ones with the tightest, they qualified as well, Zambia women. And I hope you can see the images because I don't see anything rolling.
We need images to see our women.
And so Zambia, they clinched theirs, and it will be played in Morocco in July, this year's WAFCON. And they actually drew with Namibia. The first game had ended 0-0, and then 1-1, and they go through on the away goals rule. So, away goals count double, and if you score an away goal, you end up winning 2-1. Burundi were the next to book their ticket. Well, I mean, theirs was a bit of a walkover. 5-0, they won the first leg against, I think it's Djibouti. In fact, it was Djibouti. Sorry, they won the first leg 6-0 and second leg 5-0. So 11-1 on aggregate. They've gone through. So that's a good one. I'm not sure why they're not playing the video.
Yeah, the video will be on soon. They're working on that.
But Burkina Faso, they are almost there because they beat Guinea-Bissau 6-0. And second leg might be a formality, which brings me up to the next game, and that's the one involving us, the Gambia. We have a mountain to climb. We have a football miracle to perform because in the first leg, for those who've been following, I remember I was here last week and I was saying to Geneva, playing Cameroon is going to be a tough one.
You
and Geneva
said
was saying, football, well,
it's unpredictable.
but it's not that unpredictable.
I was surprised when I saw the result.
You were?
Yeah.
But it didn't surprise you, right?
It didn't surprise me because
no, the level of goals. I mean, the number of scores.
Yes.
I mean,
no, it shouldn't have surprised you if you'd been au fait with the situation in women's football in Africa. Cameroon are currently ranked #1 in Africa.
That's why.
Gambia, we've never even qualified for this tournament. And they have several players, Cameroon, who play in the professional leagues around the world, in Italy, in Spain, in France. We have 3 or 4 who play, and they're not even at the top teams, sort of internationally, club size I'm talking about. And so really, I mean, it was hoping against hope that we would have beaten them. 8-0, but the return leg is today. And, so
according to them, they want to change things. They want to turn things around.
That's why I said it would be something of a football miracle if they pull it off, because to overturn an 8-0 against, as I said, the top women's side in Africa will be, it's a tough task.
Yeah.
And if they pull it off, well, it will be, I think, the football miracle to end all football miracles, really. Never mind Sierra Leone being 4-0 down against Nigeria 10 minutes to go and they ended up 4-4. This one would, would trump that one, because to beat the likes of Cameroon, of course we have to beat them 9-0 or more.
Well, I think there's a guy among the Cameroon team. I mean,
excuse me?
Is that a guy?
That was, yeah, I mean, there are some, and in fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, because there have been a lot of debate and a lot of talk
I saw that.
about some of the teams in Africa. A lot of the women don't look like women, and we have to be honest about this. And, you know, the strange thing is, why is it that only in African women's football do we seem to get these women who don't look like women? I mean, women's football is worldwide. You can look at the USA team, UK, Spain, France, all of these. You have women playing, and they look like women. But suddenly, when you come to the African teams, there are several where you have people thinking, hang on, is that a man? And I'm not sure why it is. I mean, and normally if you walk on the street, African women look like African women. But why is it when it comes to football, suddenly they don't look like African women, or they don't look like women all of a sudden? And that's another topic which we'll be coming to. In the screen there you can see Tunisia. And Tunisia, they are almost there as well, because they won 5-0 in their first leg against Equatorial Guinea. And so Equatorial Guinea have huge task to overturn. And then you can see Botswana on the screen there. Theirs is not so certain. They won 3-1 against Zimbabwe. And in the first leg, so you know, it could be tough. I mean, the team that I think will, I wouldn't say shock everybody. I mentioned Cameroon being #1 at the moment, but the team that I particularly like the look of, because I saw some of their games, is South Africa. And again, they're not certain to go through, but they had a very good result against Algeria. They won 2-0, and so you know, second leg will be very interesting to see. And then really that sort of rounds up the ones, but I think the one that most of us, or all of us here in the Gambia, are looking forward to, of course, is the one involving the Gambia taking on Cameroon, to see if we can overturn that 8-0 first leg deficit. Now, next thing I want to focus on is the Stade du Sénégal. Now, I have to apologize to my colleague there, the VJ, because yesterday when he was talking about this, he said it was going to be called Stade Abdoulaye Wade. And so this morning I said to him, where did you get that? And he said, oh, I got it on Facebook. But you know what? Before I came on, I actually went, and I hope we can see some images there of Stade du Sénégal. I checked, and interestingly, all the Senegalese players, papers, I beg your pardon, and media are referring to it as Stadium Abdoulaye Wade. Abdoulaye Wade.
Oh, Abdoulaye Wade.
What did you say yesterday?
Yes, which is what you called it, which is what he said it was going to be called. But officially, all the documents that were issued say it's going to be called Stade du Sénégal. So there's confusion there. And interestingly, also, one of the heads of state who turned up there was Paul Kagame.
Yeah.
And on his homepage, he actually refers to it as Stade Abdoulaye Wade. So
that's
confusion. But on the stadium itself, all the notices say Stade du Sénégal, all the way around. And I took lots and lots of pictures. You can also see some of the crowd that turned up. And there was also a Legends match, including the likes of J.J. Okocha, Samuel Eto'o, Patrick Mboma of Cameroon. And that ended, of course, diplomatically. It ended 1-1, as you would expect. You know, it's a friendly. Lots of people who, you know, and some of the greatest ever African players who can still, you know, people like El Hadji Diouf were there. And so it was great to see them, Khalilou Fadiga, these great players, see them playing on a beautiful pitch. The stadium, people in Gambia have been saying, including myself, why can't we build something like this? Then I looked at the cost of it. $270 million US is how much.
Well, you know, when Bakary Badji came here, he was sitting on this chair. He said, for us to build a stadium here, it will cost us at least $200 million.
Well, he's right. He's right. And what everybody has been praising also is the fact that it was built in 18 months by a Turkish construction company.
Wow.
And everybody who's been there, like BBC, CNN, they're all raving about it, saying it's fantastic, it's world class. So that's great. But, you know, do we have $270 million to build a stadium? No, we don't. But interestingly, because it was done by a Turkish company, the Turkish president was there as well for the inauguration and to inaugurate the new Turkish embassy in Dakar. But unfortunately, his head of security had a heart attack at the event and died.
Somebody just said that, you know, considering that even our road clearing when it comes to the OIC are not even set. Not to talk of us thinking of, you know, having this kind of
let's talk about the, like his head of security.
Yes, he had a heart attack whilst the ceremony was going on.
At the event?
At the event. They tried to revive him, but unfortunately they could not. He was taken to hospital and he was actually pronounced dead at the event.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So the Turkish president ended his visit and went back, and we can see some of the heads of state who were there. Our own president was there, Adama Barrow was there. So they had a kind of before reception. They were on the pitch kicking footballs. Infantino, head of FIFA, was there. Arsene Wenger, former Arsenal manager, was there. George Weah, president of Liberia, himself a former World Footballer of the Year, was of course there. And so it was a great occasion and one to look for. But you're right, I mean, things like OIC, we're struggling to deliver on that. You know, the funds are there for the OIC thing, so even if...
It is.
This is a problem. The OIC, these days I went to the Costa Road end, I was like...
Which is where I live.
I hope we are going to make it.
But according to officials from the OIC Secretariat, they're saying that, you know, when it comes to this, the conference can still go on. The roads, it doesn't necessarily mean that the road expansion has to be done before the conference, because in other countries, work in progress and then the conference happens.
But I mean, what they assured us, I mean, when they came on this platform, they said they will be able to complete it on time.
Maybe that's just PR.
I think I think your eyes tell a different story. I know we're meant to be talking about sport, but as we're on that, in terms of, I mean, what's happened is the funds that are being provided will be there even if we don't complete on time. It's not just about the roads. We're meant to be building five-star hotels. Where are they? So, you know, we need to be honest and realistic about this, and I don't think people are being that.
But,
and I'm not sure why.
But I think the communications team have to come out and be honest to us, in as much as they want to have like a proper PR. But time is up.
Time is up, and so we can't see the last photograph.
Can we have the last photograph? We have.
Yeah, so the last picture that people can see, we just had the first ever African Schools Championships, and the young man who you can see being awarded a trophy is supposed to be 15 years old.
Hey, whoa! This man.
he's meant to be 15 years old. And that picture has gone viral because nobody believes that guy is 15. It's an under-16 championship. He's from DR Congo. He was awarded player of the tournament. And he's got a beard, mustache, the lot, and he looks like he's probably got 2 or 3 children.
Looks like Ibrahim Abalde to me.
He probably is Ibrahim Abalde, who's not 15.
When are we graduating from these things?
So yeah, maybe they should have just said schools championship and that he's a schoolboy or something, or he's a school man. He's gone to school, but nobody's convinced. So that picture has gone viral because people are just simply not.
You see,
convinced.
and this is corruption to the highest level because you are depriving those that are supposed to get this.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, due to time constraints,
and that's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Ibrahim promised that he will take me to one of the restaurants here today in preparation of Gemma Chosan. So he said he will dash me money.
We have a day to go.
And we also
the Gemma Chosan is on football. Saturday.
Yeah. Yes.
Put on your cultural outfits and get ready.
Sumahali.
The Serekunda West Park.
So
we will be there.
Donkey don't deliver in public.
Anyway, till we come your way tomorrow. Bye for now.
hadamadin ila nyantolum preji kendomi annun ji senengo adabe hadamadin la balu wala kon annun hadamadin ka fengo fen dundi akono kono ayanda ke ku senengo ay ke kuti mi yalo ko ata hadamadin mantora madin one stop water solutions limited ibe janne gambia banko